Support for Just Seen It comes from Fandor, dedicated to supporting independent films and filmmakers. Movies from around the world are available at fandor.com/PTV. Fandor, all for film. Fioravante decides to become a professional Don Juan to help his cash-strapped friend Murray.
She asked me, do I know anybody? I said, yeah, it'll cost you $1,000. I was thinking of you.
With Murray acting as his manager, they quickly find themselves in a dilemma. They must decide which is more important, love or money, in Fading Gigolo.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm here with Salim and Aaron, and we're going to talk about Fading Gigolo, directed by John Turturro, starring Turturro and Woody Allen. We've all just seen it. Salim, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. This is actually also written by John Turturro, and I think it's his best attempt at doing a Woody Allen movie, with obviously Woody Allen as a main lead in this film. And it was interesting. It's non-traditional. It's got this very deliberate pacing to it. The status quo we kind of miss. It kind of just drops us right into the middle of the story, which is a little bit disorienting. But as the story progresses, it gets interesting.
It's the 5th film directed by Turturro. He's done 4 feature films and a documentary, and each of the features sort of are an ode to something. I mean, he did a musical once, I believe he did a crime film, and now this one is an ode to Woody Allen pictures. And there's a lot of Jewish humor, there's a lot of quirky characters, there's odd mixes of humor and drama.
I enjoyed the movie. I thought, like you, that the setup was kind of rushed. It almost seemed like an excuse to just say, we got to get to the meat of the story.
Exactly.
But the meat of the story, I thought, was quite refreshing in a way. This relationship that's at the core of the film between the John Turturro character and this Jewish girl who's a very traditional Jewish girl who can't even touch him.
I love Turturro because he's a character actor. He usually plays eccentric characters from numerous Spike Lee movies. And in this one, it was kind of strange to see him in Coen Brothers movies as well. But it's fascinating to see him play a straight guy who basically, I don't know, he's way too cool to look the way that he looks.
It's just, yeah, it's just not a character that you can see him playing easily. It's not like, you know, he's looking through a laundry list of roles and he's like, this one is perfect for me. I mean, his back and forth with Woody Allen is quite fantastic.
And that's the best part of the film for me, is the interaction between these two. I can imagine him reading the script and telling John, all right, I'll play this character, just let me go in the scene. I know it's funny, and whatever you want, you can cut. Whatever you want to keep in, you can keep in. It's just, they look like they're having a lot of fun.
You look good. You look like a man. Not too pretty.
Gracias.
Do you have any idea what goes on inside a woman's head?
If I did, I wouldn't be here.
What's unfortunate, I think, is of all the people in this movie, I'm the biggest fan of Woody Allen.
Yeah.
And I thought Woody Allen was probably the least interesting part of the movie.
Yeah.
He's got a family life that's, you know, interesting to say the least.
But it's not explained or explainable,
Exactly.
really.
It's like, oh, well, this is interesting, and let's just throw it together, and people won't question it, but they will.
The fact that he didn't write his own part has to have something to do with it. But here he has the opportunity to improvise, but he has strong material to work with, and I think he's great.
I really enjoyed Vanessa Paradis a little bit more than John Turturro and Woody Allen. She is this French actress who plays this widowed Jewish woman, and she has this hopefulness to it. She's got a great arc as well, where she starts off very naive, and then at the end she has this hopeful nature of the future and trying to move on.
She really brings a sweetness to that role that I thought she was a standout. And that relationship concludes in this film in a way that I thought was very genuine and very sweet, which it's hard to be both realistic and sweet. But this film finds a way to do that.
And she, as an actress, her performance is what gives the film emotional weight. If she didn't do such a great job, I probably wouldn't have cared about any of the dramatic elements.
And she had such a great arc. She started off kind of naive, and then she kind of becomes very hopeful by the end, which is great. So let's talk about the directing a little bit. John Turturro, I thought he had some great directorial flourishes. He had this jazz that he included into it that
very Woody Allen.
Very Woody Allen, and it kind of connected with the waftingness of the pacing.
Oh man, I loved all the technical elements. I thought the camera movement was great, the coverage, the sound, the color, everything about this movie was just well thought out, and it proves to me that Turturro knows what he's doing. He's been on film sets for a very long time. He's obviously learned a lot as both an actor and a director, and we see it on display here.
The only movie I'd seen from him before as a director was Romance and Cigarettes, which was an interesting movie, but really did have this dramatic shift in tone about midway through it that also worked to its benefit. I think the tone is a little bit smoother here than it was in that movie. And the way he distances himself from Woody Allen, I think, does come in that central section of the movie.
You can feel the film kind of be stretched out, or at the very least that Turturro had this idea of, you know, an aging guy becoming a gigolo and then this other story accompanying it. It's possible that it could have been stretched out a little bit. At least it feels that way.
A solid auteur effort by John Turturro that's serviceable, but not enough to keep from fading into the indie film milieu. Stream it.
This is a solid piece of work from a well-respected actor turned director, and I think it's worth watching, so I say see it.
It could fade from memory, but its relationships and its characters make this an above-average film in the early year. So I say see it.
All right, our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for Fading Gigolo.
Cheers to the world's oldest profession.
This is so awkward.